Hello, thank you for joining this video course. If you're here, it probably means that you're having some struggles or challenges with one another. Maybe you're getting caught in communication and being frustrated or angry with one another. Or maybe you're just feeling kind of disconnected or not passionate or distant from your partner and you want to get love again and fast. Or maybe you're actually right now not in a relationship, but you want to create one and you want to do it well. You want to create the right one for you. Whatever the reason is, I want to really congratulate you for taking the step to learning about yourself and learning about your relationship. So many couples just settle for less. Just settle for an okay relationship and think that's what I can do and there's nothing more than that. Or they end up leaving the relationship, breaking up, but not really learning about it. And the result is that they end up in struggles in the next relationship because they haven't really taken the steps to learn about what it takes to create a great relationship. So hi, my name is Gal Sekeli. I'm the founder of the Couple Center, and I've dedicated my work to helping couples, individuals and couples, create thriving relationships. I've worked with hundreds of couples in one-on-one settings and in different events and workshops and couples intensives. So I know what it takes to create a great relationship. And in this video mini course, I'm going to talk to you about what are the challenges of relationship, how to think about them differently, and specifically what tools or steps you can do in order to already start creating change in your relationship in the direction that you want, to get the love that you want. So in this video specifically, I'm going to talk about a few things. First, I'm going to talk about the two main challenges that couples have with one another, so you can identify more where you are and what you need to do. The second thing I'm going to talk about is why people fight. So why do good people that love each other and want to feel love and connection and excitement end up in a bad relationship in which they make each other miserable? And again, what can you do about that? And then the third thing I'm going to talk about is what makes a relationship successful. What does it take to actually have a good relationship? Because if you don't have a vision or a map of where you want to go, you're not going to be able to create change. So once you understand what I call the 7 dimensions of successful relationship, you understand where you want to go and also where you need to create change in your relationship. What doesn't work in your relationship, so you can start taking the right action. So let's talk for a moment about the two biggest challenges that couples have in a relationship. The first challenge is that people have communication issues. When they say that, what they really mean, they're saying, we get hurt, we get frustrated, we get angry with one another. We try to talk about that, and the conversation doesn't go well. We end up escalating, getting more emotional, more frustrated, more angry, and more disconnected from one another. Now, the problem with this pattern is that the more you get stuck in those communication issues, the easier it is to trigger them, because you get into the next conversation already expecting this is not going to go well. So you're already more defensive, and you're already provoking basically more your partner, and you end up in a worse relationship. So if you don't know how to resolve the fighting, if you don't know how to really understand each other, you end up just escalating more and more and more and just feels worse and worse in the relationship. The difference is that if you do know how to resolve it, you end up feeling closer to one another. You end up feeling more connected and more happy with one another. The second reason, or the second challenge that couples have, is they say we're okay with one another, but we don't feel close. The passion is gone, the sexuality is gone, and it just doesn't feel like the butterflies that we used to have in the belly. And they're thinking to themselves, is this all love can offer us? Is this what relationship all can be? And so those couples, what they need to do is they need to learn how to create connection and love in a conscious way. They need to understand that there's ways and tools to create love and connection. And also sometimes one of the reasons why it happens is that you don't really fully bring yourself into the relationship. You try to keep the peace, you try to not fight with your partner, but you end up not really expressing what's really important to you and what you need. And when you don't get what you need, you also don't feel so close and excited. So now let's talk a little bit about why people fight. Why do we get stuck with the fighting? How come my partner is someone that I love and I want to feel close and connected to, and I end up fighting with them? So there's a few things to understand about fighting. First of all is that couples that are in a great relationship, couples that have been together for a while and still after 20 or 30 years says we love each other, we're excited, we're happy to be with each other, don't fight less than couples who are in difficult relationship. So it's actually not the fact that you're fighting is a problem, and it's not how much you're fighting, it's how you fight. So if you're fighting in a way that's respectful, you're fighting in a way that's trying to really get to the root of the cause, to really understand your partner, to feel closer to them, to learn, and you're creating a win-win between you and your partner, then you end up actually feeling closer and you feel like you learn something new about your partner. And so fighting becomes kind of like this opportunity for growth and connection. And another thing to understand about fighting is that we actually fight because we care. So sometimes in the middle of the fight, it feels like my partner doesn't care about me, or they're maybe even doing something on purpose to frustrate me or to make me angry. But actually we fight because we care, because our partner is so important to us. Because we want something from them. We want to feel loved. We want to feel that they have our back. We want to feel that they're excited about us, that they're attracted to us. And when we don't feel that, it really hurts. And so because it really hurts, that's why we fight. So if you're fighting with your partner, I really like you to see it as like, we're doing this because we really love each other, we really care about each other. You might have heard that expression of the opposite of love is not necessarily hate or anger. The opposite of love is indifference. So if you're fighting with each other, it's a sign that you want something and that you care about one another. Now, let's talk about like why can you get stuck, like why couples get stuck in this whole period of time in which they're fighting with each other. So not specifically about one fight, but why are we getting stuck in general in a relationship? So there's two reasons for that, or two ways to see that. One is that fighting is actually a natural progress within your relationship. So what does it mean? When we start dating one another, we're what we call the honeymoon phase. And in the honeymoon phase, you're usually excited about your partner. You want to see them all the time. You're thinking about them all the time. Everything they do seems magical and you're admiring them for all of this. And so you're actually in this phase, you're really kind of emphasizing what is it that's similar between you and your partner? In what way you have the same vision, the same excitement about life. And also, you're actually on really good drugs. So the body secretes hormones that are really powerful when we're in the honeymoon phase. And so we feel actually pretty euphoric and really excited about our partner. The problem is that phase fades out after like 6 months to somewhere between 2 years. It's personal. But when it starts to fade out, first you don't have all those hormones that makes you feel very, very euphoric, but also something else happens. Now instead of the closeness and the similarities between the two of you, you start wanting to be yourself. So you start wanting to just be all of who you are. And when that happens, you start fighting with your partner because you have differences. Each one of you is also a little bit different. And so you're trying to negotiate the differences. And let me give you actually a clue, or even a secret, is that a lot of the time, the same things that attracted you to one another are the same things that are going to also make you frustrated and you have to go to fight with them. Because you actually were attracted to things that were different than you. It is true, this, the expression of like opposites attract. We are attracted to people who are different than us, and we admire them and we like them for it. But then down the road, in the second phase of relationship, the power struggle phase, then we actually fight with them because we're different and we're trying to negotiate differences. Now, a lot of couples break up in this phase, but again, if they break up at this phase, they haven't really learned what they need, and they haven't really learned like what is the potential between them. If you learn how to work through this phase, you get to a different phase in which you're feeling much more stable and committed to one another. And it feels much deeper because now you know each other and you understand each other in a different way, and you can provide each other what you really need. And so love starts to really flourish in the next phase after the power struggle. Another reason why couples sometimes fight and get into this whole periods of fighting is they're actually in a different life stage than what they used before. So if you've been together for a while, let's say 5 years or 10 years or 15 years or 20 years together, then you're not the same person today that you were 5 or 10 years ago, which means what you need is different and what your relationship needs is different. So if you change jobs, or if you became parents, or something about you changed, like you're more happy with your life, or you're more sad or depressed in your life, or some other circumstances, like challenges happen to you in life, more responsibilities changed, then you're a different person, and then your relationship requires new skills. So it's like you're not really in the same relationship. You have to recreate your relationship again and again. And so then you can get stuck if you don't have the right skills and tools to make this new relationship now work for you. So the bottom line for this is that fighting is not a problem. How you fight is what you have to focus on. And fighting can be actually an opportunity to get closer to your partner, to learn new skills and to grow together. And if you see it this way, you start asking yourself, what is this calling me to learn? What is this calling me to grow? What is the challenge here that I have to change in myself in order to really create the love that I want? Now you might be asking, like, how do I know all of this? Okay. So I've been exactly where you are right now. I started my relationship with my wife 15 years ago, so we were pretty young, and we got really fast in love, and we even discovered that we live close by to each other. We grew up in Israel, and that's where we lived, and we had common friends, and everything went really well. We spent a lot of time together. Had a lot of fun together, spent all nights kind of together, and it was very exciting. But then very slowly things starts changing. About a year and a half to 2 years into our relationship, when it started getting serious, things started to change, and we started having this small friction with one another. You know, she liked things a certain way, I liked things a certain way, and then we started having fights. And those things started small, but then over time they started growing, and it became more and more frustrating and more hard. And at a certain point, I said, "Okay, enough. I can't do this anymore." So I actually left. I broke up with her. But when I left, I really missed her. I was thinking about her a lot, and from the distance, I realized, like, she has a lot of what I want. She's really, like, feels like she's really my soulmate. She's really a good partner for me. And so I came back, and we both came back. But this time when we came back, we had a different intention. We set the intention of really learning about ourselves and really learning about our relationship and doing it differently. So we started learning. We took different personal growth workshops, we took relationship workshop, we read books, and we went to therapy, and all of it really changed us. We started learning about ourselves. We started understanding, like, what do I need to do in order to create the love that I want? And so now we started working together instead of against each other. And what we learned changed us so much that we decided to actually leave our profession behind and pursue a profession of becoming psychotherapists and actually focus on helping people create thriving relationships. And that was brought us to the United States, into the San Francisco Bay Area, where we live today, and we've been living for many years. And so I'd like to help you right now in talking about, like, what creates a successful relationship? What do you need to do? What are the map of getting to where you want to be? So there are actually 7 different dimensions to a successful relationship, and let's go over them briefly. So the first dimension is security. Security is about making your partner feel a priority. So of course in life you have friends and work and maybe kids, and all of those are important. But if you don't make your relationship or your partner a priority, if they don't feel in themselves that you're putting them as a priority, then the foundation of relationship is shaky. Because this is really something fundamental that we all look for in a relationship, feeling like you're there for each other, feeling like I can count on you and you're not going to leave me, and when I need you, you're there. The second dimension is about connection. So if you have security and you know that your partner is there for you, the next thing you want usually is to feel love, to feel excitement, to feel appreciated. Okay, so this dimension is about knowing how to make each other feel loved, knowing what pushes the button of self in your partner, but the positive button, what makes them feel loved or desired or excited. The third dimension is called autonomy. So this is about being yourself. So you want to feel connected in the relationship, but you also want to be yourself. You want to bring your full self, all of your different sides of you into the relationship. And autonomy is also about taking responsibility for your life. It's about, some of the happiness and the joy you have in life come from connection and from relationship. But in autonomy side, you also look at, like, how can I make myself happy? How do I manage my own self? The fourth dimension is communication. So if you have the first 3, you have the foundation for a good communication. But communication is the way you interact with each other. And that means both your verbal and things you actually say, but it can also mean, like, your nonverbal, your gesture, your body language, your eye contact. So a lot of different ways we communicate. And so we really want to learn how to communicate in a way that we understand each other, in a way that we can resolve conflict, in a way that we can get closer to one another and maintain the love and connection and autonomy in our relationship. The fifth dimension is about passion. And so if you have the first 4, you're in a good, stable relationship. But in the fifth dimension, this is where it gets juicy, where it gets fun, where it's exciting, where it's ecstatic. And so passion is, of course, about sex, but it's more than sex. It's about being playful with one another. It's about being sensual, even if you're not in a sexual act. It's about being erotic with one another. The sixth dimension is about teamwork. So most couples manage their life together. So you have your household together, or even maybe kids together. And so you have to be a teamwork. You have to work together, and you have to understand each one's roles, and you have to come from a place of service and really helping each other out in managing your life. And then the last dimension is growth. And so good couples really understand that relationship is the best vehicle for their own personal growth. So it's not just about growing together, which is really important. It's also like supporting each other to be the best self. You know, together you can become more than just each one separately. You can support each other's dreams and aspirations and then growth together. And that really when relationship becomes juicy and becomes something that keeps renewing itself all the time. So I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I'd like you to look down on this page and download the worksheet for this video so you actually can start taking steps. So don't wait too long. Really download the worksheet right now and start answering the question and take some steps to change your relationship right now. And if you like this video, please share it. So post it on Facebook or any other social media and send it to your friends so more people will start learning the skills that, you know, in order to create the love that they actually want in life. Thank you.